Good evening, Mr. Martinez. Thank you for agreeing on doing this interview with me. The following set of questions will be regarding your thoughts on immigration issues and how it affects education. If you don't mind starting off by telling us when and where were you born?
I was born in El Salvador, July 27, 1990.
Okay. What age were you brought to the U.S.?
I was right here, a kid. I was 11, 12 years old.
Okay. What is the highest level of education you have accomplished?
I just graduated from high school. I attended international high school in Charleston area.
Okay. What factors were involved in your decision to not attend college?
Mainly financial reasons. I was a first generation college attendee, so my parents aren't really middle class yet. Another big issue was moral support. My parents don't know anything about college, and I was basically walking in the dark. And just overall, I didn't know what steps to take, and me being the first generation, I was scared to ask questions. I was really scared when I was in high school. I just didn't ask the right questions, or I just didn't know how to interact with some of my teachers. So at the end, it didn't really end up working out for me. I should have just asked.
Yeah. Ever since you graduated high school, have you considered in maybe enrolling now or later into college?
I have, and I'm working on it right now. Right now, it's probably not the best for me, but I will go back.
Okay. Do you believe post-secondary education to be important? Why or why not?
Yes, in today's society, most jobs require you to have some type of college degree to even be considered for the position. But I also believe that whatever you like or study, just make sure you're conscious enough that is that job going to be needed in the future, or is that going to take you somewhere? A lot of times people say, do what you like or what you enjoy the most. It's going to bring you happiness, but it's not always true. Just be conscious of what this future.
Yeah, that's true. Um, do you believe that immigration issues and statuses have affected the percentages of students from Latino descent enrolled in colleges today?
A lot. There's a lot of teens that were brought here, or young adults that were brought here pretty young, like me, illegally, and a lot of them grew up not getting papers, saying they had. A lot of them were scared to go to college just because they didn't have any papers, or if they went to college, they felt that they were wasting their money because once they graduate, you can't do anything without having papers. So, yeah, it's a big factor once you consider the fact that immigration, it's you can't go to college without.
Since you do believe it to be a big factor, how much harder do you believe it to be for a Latino student to attend college?
If you're a first generation, it's real hard. Like I said, you don't really have a guide. Nobody's there to just baby step you or guide. It's harder. If you have someone that has gone to college before, it should be a little bit easier. Just because you can ask questions, or maybe they'll be like, go, you need to go. They'll push you, and it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, it's and I can relate to it. It's a bit hard being a first generation student. How different is the education system here in the U.S. compared to your country of birth?
Um, I feel like here is a little bit easier, more, but it's a little contradicting because it's easier here before you graduate, once you graduate high school, but it's harder after that. In my home country, it's more stricter just for you to graduate high school. Then there's also the part that political parties haven't, they don't have any influence on the schools. Like over here, you only have Democrats and Republicans. In my country, there's about 20 different ones. So and then just financially over here is a little bit harder. Uh, you don't have, over there it's just a little bit more cheaper for you to just go to college than here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts on the current immigration laws, such as the Dream Act?
I think they're awesome. I think, like I said before, a lot of us were brought here young. It's not really, we didn't really have a choice of who we are or where we come from. And if you're brought here young, I think if you work hard enough, you should be rewarded in a way. I mean, like me, I don't know my home country. I don't know enough about it. Like I say, if I were to go one day, I wouldn't have anything to go to. So just for the kids that are being here and then they're getting papers and they're able to work and have a job, I think it's awesome. It opens a lot of opportunities for just about everyone that was brought here, and you know I can't be thankful enough for just everyone that can benefit from it.
From your personal experience, what is something you would like to advise to future generations and your kids regarding post-secondary education?
I would just say go, just go, go, go. Don't be afraid to ask questions like I did when I was in high school. I just didn't ask enough questions. Uh, Ask for help if you don't know what you're doing. Just ask for help or ask someone that's going to college. Ask your teachers, your tutors. Just ask your friends too. One of them is probably going to have a little bit of answer. And then also for the parents, support your kids. Just if you have to force them to go, it is gonna pay off in the future. Just try to help your kids. Try to support them in any way you can, because if you have kids that are first time generation, or if you are a first time generation, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You don't know what it's going to be like. You just have a ton of questions, and if you have anybody that can help you, your teachers, or your parents or someone's friend, just ask for help and just go, just apply, just try to do it.
It's pretty awesome, and I want to touch on something that you mentioned earlier, how you said you didn't have any moral support from your parents. Is that something that you would be on with your kids whenever it gets to that point where they've graduated high school and it's time for them to enroll them to college? How are you going to go ahead and push them onto it, knowing that you haven't gotten that degree?
It's kind of hard for me because I didn't go to college, like I said, but I'm very conscious of what's going on around me right now, and I will definitely push them to go to college. I already have a savings for them, and they'll definitely go. Um, I just don't see a world where if your kids don't go to college, they're not gonna succeed. Just the way this world's growing, just economically, and just the internet and everything. I think everybody needs to at least have some type of post high school education nowadays.
Definitely. Another quick question. How much more prepared would you say that parents that were born and raised in the U.S. are towards their children going to college compared to illegal parents that came from other countries?
So, like in my case, my parents know very little English. They have no clue how to even start the process. Such as someone that has, parents that have gone to college, they know the steps. They know what to do. If you have to take a loan, they'll help you. If you need guidance, if you need just overall tidbits on what to do. But my parents, they have no clue what's going on. More likely, they're scared of you just going to college because they don't know what's gonna happen, or they're like, oh, you might, if you run into trouble, what can I do to help them if I can't even go there because I'm scared, you know, because of their legal status.
Yeah, definitely. How do you feel about the financial statuses regarding immigrant students and how they're able to access those types of funds?
Such as TASFA?
Yeah, TASFA, FAFSA, and all of that.
Like illegal?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can't really apply for FAFSA. They can apply for TASFA, which is a lot less than. So So it is harder for a minority like us to apply for some of those, just because. And then like that's one of those things that you don't know what can you do, so you're gonna have to search into that. But if you're scared to ask, you also have to do the same thing.
And unfortunately, we do have high percentages of Latino descended students that are just afraid of getting into that day of going to college.
And that's one of those things that, it, like if your parents went to college, they kind of be like, oh, we'll take out a loan. But if you don't know that you can actually take out a loan and go to college, then you can't be helped. But that's why I say ask questions, and there's a lot of fast grants that you can take, tuition in college, but ask for help. Like I was one of those people that I didn't ask for help. I thought I knew what I was doing. At the end, it did not work out for me.
Unfortunately, like I said, there are plenty of Latino students in that same position. But just to conclude everything, I do want to thank you for doing this interview with
You're welcome.
me. And I hope this interview actually helps a lot of Latino students to go ahead and take that step to continue on to college. Okay, so thank you and have a good afternoon.